So yeah, rather than hear from us about how this process can work, we invited one of our clients, Vanessa, who has a very inspiring story to share. So I'll stop sharing my screen so that way you can see Vanessa in full. And Vanessa, if you want, you can just kind of share a little bit about your story.
Yeah. Hi guys. So my name's Vanessa, and I went through a double jump. I originally started my career journey working mostly in managerial operational roles in the restaurant and hospitality industry. And then at the beginning of this year, I realized that I wanted to pivot careers because I wanted to be in a field where I had more opportunity for growth and more job security, right? So I hired Eli as a career coach to work with him and to figure out what is it that I really wanted to do. Because I felt like a jack of all trades. I felt like it could go in any direction, but we really tried to narrow down, what are the things that, bring me joy? What are the things that I'm most interested in? And we did this through like a lot of research, a lot of different activities, and, different homework assignments, trying to figure out what is it that I really want to do and pursue that aligns with my goals and my values. We decided on moving forward in the HR industry and, really targeting, small businesses, some fintech organizations, and mostly just really focusing on a role that I could have a lot of different exposure to different aspects of the business. And so we were staying away from like recruiter roles, mostly looking at like HR coordinator roles, HR generalist roles. And then the pandemic happened. And, it was just right in the middle of when I was starting to get some interviews. And so I kind of went into panic mode and I was focused more so then on like putting out just job applications and like applying through LinkedIn and, their job sites. And I was probably putting out like at minimum 5 applications a day. And it came to a point where I realized that I probably put out over 500 applications, and and for lack of better words, it just crushed my soul, because I think out of those 500 applications, I got back only 2 interviews. And it was then that I met up with Eli again, and I was like, okay, I think I need to realign. And, he taught me everything that we're talking about here in this webinar, like early on in my career pivoting process. But I was like, I'm going to do this my way. But then what I realized was that I needed to refocus and go back and really target. And like Peter was saying, to really utilize my network, because if I was going to make a double jump, I really needed to utilize the people that were around me and to reach out to people that I was already connected with. So we did that one by, looking at companies that I really wanted to work at, seeing who I was connected to at those companies, and then just requesting an informational interview. And this wasn't something like, oh, I need a job, give me a job. It was more so like, I want to hear about what you do, what's your story, what's your experience, and then share my own experiences from that. And then that usually led to, do you know anyone else that I could talk to that is within the HR, like within the HR industry as well, or that you work closely with in HR as well, that I could also speak to and talk about my experience. And it was from that led to, more opportunities of like job applications, right? Or it was me reaching out to people on LinkedIn who had experience in the HR industry and just cold emailing them, letting them know that I was really interested in what they were doing, interested in the company they worked at. And then if a job opportunity opened up later down the line, I was able to reach out to them again and be like, hey, I noticed that, for example, Viacom is hiring for another HR coordinator role. I'd love to talk again about, your experience, what's the culture like, and how I can best tailor my resume, right? And so again, it was great because just telling my story and them sharing their story, I was able to create a more fulfilling experience than just putting out a job application. And it definitely still was hard. I was still putting out, 5 cold emails a day at minimum, but the response that I got back was tenfold. I think out of all of the applications that I put out, out of all the informational interviews that I had, I ended up getting about like over 30 interviews from that. And it wasn't just like the recruiter round, I was able to get into round 2, round 3, round 4. And all of this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for all the experiences that I had with all the informational interviews, really honing in on my story. And then the core of me honing in on my story was really me figuring out my why. and, really figuring out, why do I want to do this? Why is this so important to me? Why is people so important to me? Working with others. And that all was rooted in all of the experiences and activities that I did throughout this whole career coaching process. And yeah, so now I can happily say that I was recently hired as an HRIS generalist. No, sorry, not HRIS generalist, sorry, an HRIS analyst. And so I was able to make the double jump successfully. I was able to jump industries, jump positions, and yeah, I'm very excited about my new position.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. It's yeah, it doesn't get old hearing your story, and it's still fresh and it's still exciting, and we're so happy for you as you navigate this new phase of your career, this new chapter